Alright, this is Joe and Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today with another exciting episode for you. And guys, this is the one root vegetable I want you guys to juice. This is one of the healthiest and least expensive root vegetables you can buy and juice. And unfortunately, not enough people are aware about this amazing vegetable that has proven health benefits when you consume its juice. So in Las Vegas, Nevada, where I live, I was able to buy this jicama on sale for 33 cents a pound. Normally, if you go out to a regular supermarket, they could be around $1 a pound, but nonetheless, you should consider jicama a superfood vegetable that you guys want to juice regularly when you make your juices. I mean, number one thing I will say is if you guys juice fruits, you always want to cut it with 50% jicama for the health benefits it provides. Also, unlike other root vegetables like carrots and beets that can make your juice taste strong and some people would consider it off-putting, the jicama juice tastes really amazing. It's actually sweet and delicious, but will actually not affect your blood sugar like juicing fruits. It will actually help your blood sugar go in the other direction due to the soluble fibers such as the inulin and pectin contained within the jicama. And today, I'm going to juice 12 pounds of jicama right here. These are abnormally large jicama roots. Normally, they're a fair bit smaller, but I just got the fresh shipment and I was able to find some nice ones in the Kuvings Auto 10 juicer. And do you believe me when I'll say I'll be able to fit all this jicama in the hopper at once? So the Kuvings Auto 10 was the first machine to have the largest hopper, which is 3 liters, to come stock on any vertical hopper juicer. They then came out with a hopper extension that allows you to make your hopper even bigger, to go from 3 liters, and we simply just attach this on, and this hopper extension is simply a $30 part, and now you instantly have 4.3 liters of hopper space. That being said, we still can't fit all this jicama in a 4.3 liter hopper, so we're going to step it up and make the hopper even larger. That being said, before I do, I need to give you guys a disclaimer. We're going to throw this right up on the screen right now. There's a webpage from Kuvings themselves, and it says, this hopper extension is designed for use with the Auto 10 or Auto 10 Plus hopper. It is not intended to be stacked with another extension, as this is not how the product was designed to be used. So basically, Kuvings designed it only to fit one extension, and they're like, yep, we're all right with you guys doing this. And what I'm going to show you guys in an instant, they do not condone. This may void your warranty. So unless you're a risk taker like I am, don't do it. That being said, I will tell you personally that off camera, I've been using multiple hopper extensions without any problem for quite a while now. But, of course, do so at your own risk. So, anyways, what we're going to do next is we're going to take another hopper extension. Once again, $30, right? And we're going to go ahead and add that on. And now we instantly have a 5.6 liter hopper, right? But I'm not stopping there because I need to fit almost 12 pounds of jicama in there. So we're going to take one more hopper extension, literally maxing the Kuvings Auto 10 out. And now we have a total of 6.9 liters of hopper space. This is basically almost 7 liters of hopper. This is just insanity right here. And what this allows you to do, this allows you to basically put in all your produce, shut the lid, walk away, make sure you have the spout cap open and a pulp catch container large enough, and it'll juice all without you. That is really the magic behind the Kuvings. And the reason why I love it the most is because it has the largest hopper. And if juicing large volumes is your gig and what you want to do for whether you're going on a juice fast, whether you're juicing for a large family, or whether you just want to juice once a week for yourself and get a lot of it done out of the way and have it stored properly, like I'll show you guys in a minute, you could basically drink one juice a day for the entire week, and this large hopper makes it really easy. I normally use this large hopper when I'm juicing my green juice, which usually consists of mostly romaine lettuce. It's almost entirely romaine lettuce with a few other vegetables, including kale or collard greens from my garden, maybe some celery, maybe some cucumbers sometimes. And this hopper, because the leafy greens are so fluffy, I could add a lot in there, you know, and it basically saves me time. So that's why I love the Kuvings Auto 10. If you have not yet purchased your Kuvings Auto 10 and want to get the best price, be sure to use a coupon code DJ at KuvingsUSA.com. When you guys use that coupon code, not only will you save 10% off, but also Kuvings will share me a small commission so I can continue to make these educational videos for you guys where I share all my juicing tips, information, and honest juicer comparisons. Nonetheless, let's go dive back into the jicama and why it is so health beneficial and why I want you to juice it. All right, so to prove my point, I've pulled up some published studies. The first one is this one. It's entitled Platelet Inhibitory Effects of Juices from Patryrus Rosis L. Root and Psidium guavajum L. Fruit, a randomized controlled trial in healthy volunteers. So this is a human trial, and basically we're just going to go ahead and pop up this infographic I created, which is based on the published study. And you get the main benefits according to the published study, right? Number one, it had an anti-clotting effect. You know, this is very important for your cardiovascular health, and it helped reduce platelet clumping, right? This is how people get heart attacks. You know, you get clotting, and then your blood flow is reduced. You know, I mean, other reasons why if your blood flow is reduced, maybe sometimes you can't raise the flag, you know. And then another reason in this published study, which is very interesting, is that jicama juice boosted nitric oxide pathway. So you had dietary nitrate that's in the jicama, more than likely because it is grown conventionally and they're putting nitrogen-based fertilizers on there, converts into nitrate, converts into nitric oxide, and then basically improves vasodilation, which then, guess what? You get more blood flow. So this can be very important. Once again, blood flow is very important, especially if you're working with some kind of cardiovascular conditions. And then also, according to the published study Science, it said it proven to lower diastolic blood pressure was lowered when they're drinking the jicama juice. So, you know, never underestimate the power of the juices. And I think for me, the power of juicing is because if you were to sit here, you couldn't eat a ton of jicama. It has a lot of fiber in there. And yes, fiber is good for us. That being said, there are mainly two types of fiber that are classifications, although there are many more, soluble and insoluble fiber. When you're juicing, to remind you guys, you keep the soluble fiber that comes out with the juice. This would include things like the pectin and the inulin that can have lots of health benefits. You're losing some of the insoluble fiber, such as the roughage. You know, roughage is quite important to us, and I encourage everybody to eat a whole foods diet rich in other plant foods to get your fiber at other times of the day, but not in your juices necessarily, all right? So yes, jicama has lots of health benefits according to the study. And then the next study I found actually was from Indonesia. We'll pop it up on the screen. This is the effect of giving bengkong juice, which is Pachyris erosis, on blood cholesterol levels and comfort complaints to menopausal women. So basically it said, you know, they either had like soy milk or this jicama juice, which actually has a similar color. It's like a white milky color. And the jicama juice provided more relief for menopausal women. So if you're in that stage of your life, you know, the jicama juice may be able to help you. Now let's go ahead and see what this study showed. All right, so we're going to pop up this infographic I created. And this infographic simply says the human metabolic effects and mechanisms based on clinical data and known biological mechanisms. So basically, the prebiotic pathway, this is why jicama juice is so beneficial. It is one of the most easily available common vegetables that contains inulin, which is a soluble fiber. When you drink the jicama juice, basically it feeds your microbiome, basically specifically bifidobacteria and other beneficial bacteria, right? We need these bifidobacteria to be healthy. So when the bifidobacteria basically eat up the inulin because we cannot digest it, right, it makes secondary metabolites that are quite healthy for us. So what happens because of this? Well, next area is glycemic control. So the jicama juice likely due to microbiome and other reasons, can help control your blood sugar. So basically it's a viscous gel. So if you like store the jicama juice in your fridge, and it might kind of get gel over time, like I stored the orange juice I made in the Kuvings Auto 10, link down below to that video, when I juiced 21 pounds of oranges in this very Auto 10, and I put the juice in the fridge, and basically just a few days later, it was like a pudding. It was very thick. That's because it gelatinized in the fridge. This is a proof of the soluble fiber in there, such as the pectin, that will provide us the health benefits. And of course, in the clinical dose response, after 14 days of jicama juice for the ladies in the study, it showed that they had significant FBG reduction, and they had basically a blood glucose reduction. So this is the benefits of jicama juice, especially if you are dealing with some kind of issues with your circulatory system. That being said, even if you're not, I encourage you guys to, pick up jicama and juice it regularly. Not only is the flavor amazing, neutral, a little bit sweet, it's just a really nice kind of like vegetable to add in. Of course, one of my favorite ways to use the jicama is to actually rejuice my vegetable pulp with the jicama pulp. I'll put some links down below to videos where I do that. All right, so now that you guys know about the health benefits, let's get juicing this jicama. So the jicama root is completely edible. That being said, other parts of the jicama plant, also known as the yam bean plant, including the stems, the leaves, the seeds, are all toxic. So for that reason, I encourage you guys to only juice the white flesh. Always peel off the coloring of the root. There may be some toxins in, or of course, if it's not organic, it may have other kind of pesticides on there. So basically, I usually just cut off the top and the bottom, and I come down and I basically put it down on the cutting board. And you could use like a vegetable peeler, but I just use a knife and I just shave all the way down, following the contour of the root vegetable. So you guys can see I'm just going all the way down to the bottom, curving all the way down. So I think what I'll do is we're just going to go ahead and speed this part of the video up for you guys until I got this completely peeled up. Alright guys, so I got the top half peeled and I kind of followed the contour, and then sometimes I didn't get properly to the bottom, so you guys can see. Then I turn it over the bottom and then just do the final trimming to get all the skin of the root off. Alright guys, so now you can see I have the peeled jicama right here. It's just completely like white. And I want to give you guys some tips real quick. When picking out jicama, because you guys probably never picked it before, I want you guys to look for a few things. Number one, most important rule is I want you guys to select jicama that is heavy for its size. If you pick up a jicama that's this size, it should be, a fair bit heavy. I think each of these jicamas are approximately maybe almost 3 pounds, because I got 4 of them and it's about 11.9 pounds total. So they should be heavy for their size. What does this mean? This means they are more full of water weight. If they are more full of water weight, that means they are more fresh. If you pick up a jicama that is quite light for its size, basically it's not as fresh. In addition, I want you guys to look for this nice vibrant color. This is a nice vibrant color, right? Sometimes jicama will get like dark and kind of like shriveled up. That's when it's getting old. Doesn't mean it's necessarily bad, because jicama can store for easily a month if it's stored properly, right, and not go bad. That being said, I want you guys to look for any kind of like marks on it, like if there are cut marks or any kind of like black marks or anything that's starting to get actually shriveled up. That's not a good sign. That's not a good jicama to buy. In addition, some places when you buy jicama, they will actually coat it in wax. I don't think that's necessarily bad. I personally don't buy jicama coated in wax, because normally it's from like Frida's or Melissa's. That is a much more specialty retailer, and then they charge like a lot more money. But that being said, when they do coat it in wax, it does help the jicama to last longer. All right. But yeah, I guess the main thing is heavy for its weight, and look for any, all these little small imperfections are completely fine. You just don't want any dents, dings, or like cuts in it. That's where, then things could get in there and then things could kind of go bad. So next step, after we got the jicama skin removed, next step is we're just going to go ahead and cut it in half. And basically what I like to do is I like to cube up this jicama. So I cut it in half once, and then I basically cut it into slices. So you guys can see these are the 2 halves, and then this half was cut into 1, 2, 3 slices. Then I put this down on the cutting board, and then basically I make long chips out of them. So I'm cutting it the lengthwise way to make long chips. You guys could see an example right here. Then I basically turn it on the cutting board, and then I basically slice it all the way down once again, and then this makes small little cubes approximately of the jicama. This is the best way to juice it. That being said, if you're lazy, you could just dump the whole thing in, root and all. I like to chop it up into smaller pieces. That way I could fit more jicama into the chamber. This way you're playing the best Tetris game with the Kuvings Auto 10s you could fit the most. That being said, I think this time maybe I'll cut it a little bit less. I'll just put it down on the cutting board. It's a little bit easier to cut it this direction. When you just, once again, we're cutting it into slices. And I think I'll settle with this. So like now we have nice large slices. And this is still pretty good. I'm not going to cube it up because I don't really have to. And we're just going to go ahead and dump it in the Kuvings Auto 10. So now I got 3 more jicamas to peel. So I think we're going to go ahead and speed this part of the video up. Get these cut up and loaded up into the Auto 10. Alright guys, so I got the last jicama chopped up, and let's go ahead and load up the Auto 10. So far so good. We basically fit all the jicama. I think I'll be able to fit like half of this in there. Maybe if I cubed them up at the bottom a little bit better, we could have probably fit it. But basically we fit all the jicama, so like it was almost 12 pounds, 11.9 pounds total. We fit basically probably I'd say 10 pounds of jicama straight up in the Auto 10. And shut the lid. Let's see if the Auto 10 can handle it all without a problem. Once again, when you guys do use the additional hoppers, you need to make sure you have a nice large collection cup to collect the pulp. And then you need to make sure you have a nice large collection cup to catch all the juice and leave the spout cap open. Very important. Let's go ahead and turn this juicer on and get me some jicama juice. Alright, as you guys can see, the jicama is basically dropping down. It's feeding down without any incident in our giant 6.9 liter hopper. You guys can see we got all the nice clear milky white liquid coming right out, and soon enough we'll get the pulp coming out over on this side. I see it starting to come out. And we're just going to go ahead and let this baby run until we got all 10 pounds of jicama juice. And I think as it's going, I'm probably just going to drop in the remaining amount of jicama in the top. And we're just going to go ahead and leave it to run on its own devices. That is the amazing technology of the Kuvings Auto 10. It has been properly designed with a processing blade that will pre-cut the ingredients you put in there even smaller, and more importantly, feed them into the juicer at a slow and moderate rate, so don't get problems with clogging and jamming like you used to on manual feed chute vertical juicers. As you guys can see, this jicama pulp is coming out. If I squeeze it, it's actually quite dry. I can't squeeze anything out. The Kuvings Auto 10 is doing an amazing job on this jicama, and as you guys can see, it's already dropped down that much. So now I'm just going to go ahead and drop in the rest of the jicama through the hole on the top. Alright guys, we're almost done juicing almost 12 pounds of jicama in the Kuvings Auto 10. It didn't stop, it didn't clog, it didn't jam. Proving to me that the Kuvings Auto 10 and its 240 watt motor and 45-minute runtime, guys, this machine is ranked at 45 minutes of runtime by Kuvings. All other machines in this same price category only have a 30-minute runtime. Kuvings comes out on top when it comes to the durability and power of the motor and how long it can run. I also want you to pay attention. A little bit earlier you heard some like funny squeaking sounds like Now, if you juice jicama and you hear those sounds, don't worry, it's completely normal. Jicama, due to its fibrous texture, and especially if you get ones that are not as plump or heavy for its size and not as fresh, it tends to make like a rubbing sound, basically is how I would describe it. This is completely normal. That's because jicama, the way the fiber is, it's kind of like a drier pulp versus like a wetter pulp, and it will make the juicer sound a little bit odd. Don't worry, it's working completely fine. As you guys can see, the Kuvings on its own emptied out the complete hopper that I had loaded up with almost 12 pounds of produce. As you can see during the episode, I was actually storing the jicama juice in these mason jars. So that's another very important point, guys. If you guys invest the money to buy a bulk juicer with 6.9 liters of hopper space, you know, and you make a lot of juice, I don't want you guys simply just basically put it in a jar and cabinet it off and put it in the fridge like some influencers show. This is a way to basically potentially get sick due to bacteria and or mold growth, because there's still oxygen that they can use to respirate and grow inside your juice if you store it too long. In addition, because there is dissolved oxygen in the juice as well as in the headspace, right? The dissolved oxygen will react with things like polyphenol oxidase and literally oxidize some of the polyphenols and other oxygen-sensitive nutrients in the juice. So for that reason, I recommend only the Pure MVP vacuum pump. This pump, I've tested a lot of ones from Amazon. I spent money to buy these pumps on Amazon that they claim they remove so much oxygen. And in my test, the cheap Amazon pumps remove 60% of the oxygen out of the container. If you guys want to see my latest video on this, where I dive deep into some of the science, link down below to that, where you guys, I prove this removes like 83% of the oxygen. Very important. Now, when you remove 83% of the overall oxygen, that means there's like 3.5% oxygen left in the jar, including the headspace and also in the juice itself, because literally this will de-aerate or take the oxygen bubbles out of the juice and pull it up to the top. That's why you saw me when I pump these, I have to tap down and get the bubbles out, and then I basically would pump again. So let's go ahead and do that for you guys real quick. This is how you properly store your juice to last up to a week. So first step is you want to basically pour the juice in, and you want to leave a head space. You don't want to fill it up too high because you need an expansion place for the oxygen, the air bubbles to rise up to. So you guys can see we filled it like maybe an inch, maybe even go 1.5 inches from the top. And what we're going to do next is go ahead and pump the pump, maybe like 4 pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're looking to see if the bubbles rise up, which they are. We don't want to rise it up too much because then you'll start pumping the bubbles and the juice through the valve on the top, right? Once we get it pumped up, you guys can see here, you can see literally bubbles come out of the juice to the surface. What we're going to do to expedite the process is we're just going to go ahead and tap this down a little bit. This will get all the bubbles to rise up to the top. This will also get all the bubbles on top to kind of condense back down, so we have a nice air gap that's empty. And then what we do again is we pump another 3 or 4 times. Now when we do that again, then you see now that headspace is taken up with more bubbles. So we just remove more bubbles. Now we're just going to go ahead and once again repeat the process where we tap it down, get the bubbles to come up. And then also too, you might want to let it settle and sit there a few minutes before you do this process again. The bubbles didn't go down that much, so we'll just pump it like once. And we'll just go ahead and tap it down, and we'll let it sit a while, and then we'll pump it some more. So you basically repeat this process until, like on these guys over on this side, right, I can pump all I want, like 10 pumps, right, and I'm not pulling any juice through the top, and no more air bubbles are basically going to come up to the surface, right? This means you've de-aired the juice to the maximum. You've pulled out the maximum amount of oxygen that this pump is physically capable of, which in my test is like 83% of the oxygen overall, which then will result in about 3.5% oxygen left in the container, right? Now, when you store it in this way, right, and besides pulling all the air out, most important thing is you need to keep this juice cold. So once you're done, you get the air out, put it in your fridge, put it in the back of your fridge where it's colder. My fridge that holds all my juices is set to between 33 and 35 degrees, right? This will allow you to keep and store these juices for up to a week. So if you guys want to get the Pure MVP vacuum pump with the lids that I recommend, you could get the kit and save $5 off with the coupon code DJ5 at bit.ly/puremvp. MVP. All right. So last up in this episode, what I want to do last is I want to go ahead and taste test the jicama juice for you guys. My mouth is watering. I'm so looking forward to this juice. Look at that nice clean texture on the juice. It's like almost like a milk substitute. I made a video a long time ago where I actually took jicama juice and then I blended it up, and I would vacuum blend it these days with dates, and that will make a perfect like milk substitute because it's like nice white. It's kind of a little bit thick. It's not like a watery consistency, and it's also sweet. So let's go ahead and taste it. Wow. To me, this is a very neutral juice. It's a tad bit sweet depending on the jicama you get. Like this one was fresher. The ones that are a bit older tend to be a little bit more sweeter. But this is just nice and refreshing. Really neutral. It doesn't have like a strong flavor. There's very little flavor to it, and jicama will take on the flavors of whatever you add. So like, I think the best thing would maybe if you add a little bit of ginger and maybe a little bit of citrus in there, maybe lemon or even orange or tangerine, this would be off the charts. That being said, if you're just juicing, you know, carrots or even a green juice, a lot of my green juices these days, I rejuice the pulp with jicama, and then I basically have a jicama green juice, you know, as my last few days of my green juice, because I basically extract more out of my pulp. Link down below to that video if you guys want to see it. Jicama is an excellent vegetable. I want you guys to start adding in to whether you want to make it straight or whether you want to add it into your other vegetable and fruit juices. It's the most valuable root that nobody's probably ever told you about. Finally, I want to show you guys the pulp. Look, so basically 12 pounds of jicama turned into 4, maybe 5 quarts. Plus all this pulp. Now look at this pulp, guys. It's nice and compacted. If I pick up this pulp, I'm gonna grab it a whole bunch, squeeze it. I get like 3 drops out, right? This pulp is like a dough, guys. Like it seriously reminds me of like a bread dough. I mean, it's like really dry, but it's not like all the way dry like a $2,500 press you'd buy. But this has done a quite sufficient job. I mean, this is just a really dry pulp, guys. So yeah, this Kuvings Auto 10, super efficient when juicing the jicama. And if you guys want to buy your own Auto 10 so you guys could bulk juice your jicama or other fruits and vegetables, right? Make sure you guys use the coupon code DJ to save 10% off the Kuvings Auto 10. Get it for the lowest price. And Kuvings will also show me a small commission so I can continue to make these educational videos for you guys, share with you guys my tips and research on the best produce items to juice, as well as compare and contrast all the different major brand juicers against each other so you guys could find the right one for you. I want to thank you guys who will use my coupon code or have used in the past. It allows me to continue to do what I enjoy, to buy my jicama, pay my light bill, to pay my amazing video editor so I can get these videos out to you guys. So thank you so much. So if you guys enjoyed this episode today about juicing the jicama, please be sure to give this a big thumbs up. Also be sure to share this with other people that are into juicing so that they could learn about probably one of the most important root vegetables that unfortunately most people still don't juice. Also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss my new upcoming episodes. I come in every 5-7 days. You never know where I show up, what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check out past episodes. Past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 900 episodes at this time on the channel dedicated to you guys all about the best juicers and other equipment to process your fruits and vegetables in the best ways possible to maintain the most nutrition. I'll put links down below to some of my favorite videos I made in the past with the Kuvings Auto 10 with all the hopper extensions showing you how easy it is to juice with it. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors.